Today on Joker Watch, I'm taking over my garage and my truck's being banished to the outside. Why, you may ask? Simple reason. My outfeed table doubles as my assembly table and that just doesn't work for me. So today, I'm building a brand new assembly table. Stick around and welcome to the watch.
With the addition of my new assembly table, I got to move everything out of the way, and that includes my table saw cart and my outfeed table. With everything out of the way, there's so much more room for activities, like dancing with my little girl. Oh, and she's gone. This project's going to start at the miter saw, and I'm just cutting down my legs to rough dimensions before I take them over to the table saw. After my legs are cut down to the rough height, I take the boards over to the table saw and I cut them down to a little bit wider when I need them to be, but that'll give me material to play with after the glue up so I can get them nice and square. One major downside to the job site table saws are the power. It's just not strong enough to get through these red oak boards in one pass, and it takes me 3 or 4 passes to get the clean rip that I need on these. But that's kind of something I expected at the price point of this table saw, and it's something I'm able to live with. Now that the legs are cut down to the rough length and width, I mark both sides with a pencil, and I send one side through the joiner, flip it over, and square up the other side through the planer. I'm using Type Bond 3 here, 1 because that's all I currently have, but 2, this is a shop project and my shop is not temperature controlled, so any help against the Midwest humidity that I'm constantly facing is very much welcome. And I'm assuming if a little glue is good, then a lot of glue is better, so dump it on. And once that glue is all smeared out nicely, I go ahead and put my legs together and throw them in some clamps. And with the magic of YouTube editing, my legs are dry, so I'm going to trim them up, square them out, and get them down to my final dimension. And here we have my leg assembly. Ooh, leg. With the legs now complete, I move on to the stretchers. And these are made out of 4/4 red oak. And I'm going to go ahead and cut them down to rough length on the miter saw and do the same process as the legs. Now that my stretchers are ripped down to their final width, I grab the short side stretchers of my assembly table and I cut them down to their final length. Also, I don't know how long my guard has been stuck open on my miter saw, but that seems dangerous. Now, I went with pocket hole joinery for this build, not only for attaching the top to the body, but attaching the stretchers to the legs. And I did this for convenience, but I think if I were to rebuild this, I would use dowels for a little bit more stability. And luckily for me, I plan on building this exact same table again, but integrating my table saw into it. So I'll get the opportunity and I'll be able to see which method I like better. Please ignore my male pattern baldness that's starting to creep in. Gotta love my 30s. Here I'm using a offcut piece of plywood as a spacer for my stretchers for when I attach them to the legs. And by doing this, I'm gonna create a perfectly flat place to mount my drawer slides on the inside of the assembly table. Now, if you're interested in seeing a professional do this, I got this idea from Jason over at Bourbon Moth. So I highly recommend going and watching his video because he's much better at it than I am. Here you can see me struggling to get the proper angle to screw these pocket hole screws in. If only there was a way I could get inside and get a better angle. Oh yeah, wait, all I had to do was climb up there like a nimble ninja. Or somebody with two very bad knees. And now that the rough carcass is assembled, I'm going to go ahead and manhandle this over into its final location. Just moving it back and forth because I don't have any friends. And it's pretty heavy. But with grit, determination, Advil, ice pack, and Bengay, I was able to lift it and get it into its final location. I'm marking out where the half lap joints are going to go for these center stretcher supports. And I'm doing this in the corner just in case there's any sag in these long stretchers. That way I get the accurate mark. Then I'll take these over to the dado stack and hog out all the waste. And all that's left to do is measure where the leg supports are going to go and attach them with some glue and clamps.
That's all I got for you today on Joker Watch. It means a lot to me that you clicked on this video. If you want to see the rest of this build, hit that subscribe button. Now be safe out there, and your watch is ended.